So before that, I didn't have a lot of interactions. I just had my home PC that everyone in the family was using. It's not only having a beautiful design, but it's also about making it work. I like spreading the things that I know, which is usually things around UX or front-end development, or I really like CSS and creating cute little stuff with CSS and
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Coffee with Developers. Today with a special edition, a Congress edition. So we are at the first day of the WeAreDevelopers World Congress 2023 in the morning. So it's just getting started and I'm sitting here today with Eleftheria. She's a community manager at Crab Nebula. She's content creator, she's public speaker and developer, UX and some more things. Welcome Eleftheria, how are you doing?
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here. And everything is really nice today.
Amazing. So is it the first time at the WeAreDevelopers World Congress?
Yeah, my first time.
So what's your first impression so far?
My first impression is that it's huge. It's really, really big. The place is huge. There are many attendees, but everything is very well organized.
Okay, perfect. Yes, I agree. The venue is huge, and you need like half a day until you know where to go because there are so many stages, because we have so many amazing people.
But there are also a lot of volunteers and they are being very helpful.
Very helpful, yes. We spend quite a lot of attention to detail to that. Okay, so yeah, you do a lot of things. I mentioned developer, UX UI, DevRel, community management as well, content creator. So before we talk about that, what is your first experience of tech or in coding? Something that you were like when you were little, okay, this was my first interaction with really tech?
I don't know, because I started coding when I was 18. So before that, I didn't have a lot of interactions. I just had my home PC that everyone in the family was using. And when I got 18, I went to the university and then I started having more and more interactions. But I always loved games and I always loved beautiful, cute things. That's why I went to front end and the UX stuff. After that.
I can totally get that the front end is way more visual. You get instant dopamine as well. Like you code something in CSS or whatever, and you see it immediately. It's immediately dopamine boost. So it's like, wow, I achieved something.
That,
When you do backend, it's a little bit more. You code, and then it's like,
or what did you do?
You can't even show it off to someone. You're like, connect to my API, but a website you can show to your family. Look, I coded this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But backend, okay. So so you're, I suppose, a little bit more visual person. You like that sort of. Okay, cool. So you are community manager at Nebula, at the Crab Nebula. Okay. So can you first tell us a little bit what is Crab Nebula?
It's a startup company that works mainly with Rust and Tyre. Tyre is an open source based on Rust. And we are now creating the platform where people, companies, individuals, etc. will be able to create better products by using our platform, which will help with distribution, consultation, creating different features and stuff like that, based on Tyre projects.
Okay, cool. And there you do community management.
Yes.
What does that look like?
Yeah. Okay. I know that a lot of people are not familiar with this thing, but it's something similar to a developer advocate. So I do a lot of advocacy work, but my main focus is on the community, on building the community, and on social media. So if you have Twitter, LinkedIn, etc., I'm the person behind Crab Nebula that I will create everything for them. Of course, we also have a lot of developer advocates that help with that, but I'm the main person who works on that. And then if you have like a Discord, a Slack channel, whatever, I'm the main person there that will help, will guide you, will support you, or whatever you need.
Cool. So you also create content? Like video content, blog posts,
Right now my focus is not on docs because it's a little bit more technical, and right now I'm not working with Trust. But in my previous company, for example, that I was also a community manager, I used to write docs, I used to create blog posts, I used to create videos.
Yes.
It's pretty much everything.
So it's this thing of developer relations. It's always sort of a package. You always have like very different areas you can go into. Content management, community management, content creation, being part of it. And
I don't do the super technical stuff, but everything else, it's my main focus.
Cool. Then what is the favorite part of being the content manager?
Okay, I have two parts. The first one is that I am free to create whatever I want and make it public. And the next thing, and maybe even favorite, is that I get to interact with people, I get to ask questions, answer questions, I get to see what they want, and I try with my team, of course, to be as helpful as I can. And that's why I also chose this role and this career path. It's because I like interacting with people. Maybe it's a little bit weird because I'm not the most social person, but when I'm passionate about something, and I am very passionate about tech and women in tech and stuff like that, so because I'm very passionate about that, I like to spread it and make it public and show it to the world.
Cool, that's very nice.
Yeah.
So let's come back to the Congress here. You have a talk tomorrow?
Yeah.
Tomorrow, okay.
Yeah.
So what is your talk about?
Okay, my talk is about UX, so user experience, and a little bit about UI, so user interface. But if you want, I can tell you how I came up with this topic. Okay, so I used to work as a front-end developer in a small company, a small startup company in Greece. And in that startup company, we didn't have a designer. And as a front-end developer, I had to make a lot of decisions about how that design would look like. But me and my team, we were not always happy about the UX and about the UI. Actually, back then I didn't know a lot of stuff about the user experience. I thought it's mostly the design and the visual things. I started looking more and more to the design things, and I tried to create a little bit better designs for the stuff that we were doing. But then I realized something else. It's not only having a beautiful design, but it's also about making it work. And make something work is UX, the user experience part. So then I started digging more and more into UX, and I actually did a master a few years ago to really study that thing. And then I created this topic, this talk, which is exactly about that. It's about developers who want to create stuff, but maybe they're not super experienced about designs and experience and stuff like that. So with my talk, I try to help them create better products that they will not only be beautiful, but they will have a nice user experience.
Cool. Then what is you probably have in your talk a lot of advice, so I don't want to take that much from your talk, but can you give us one your best piece of advice to make a better product? Something that everyone does wrong or many people do wrong?
Don't try to put everything out there. So if you have a front page, don't try to make every little piece and every little information there. Just keep some basic stuff, and then you can have links or buttons or whatever, and the people can navigate and find what they are looking for. Because sometimes we have these very, very packed websites and you cannot find everything.
Yeah, this reminds me of some software from the 2000s where it's 100 fields all at once and you manage all of it. So probably hide some things that are not that important, and if you want, you can by one click maybe access it, something like that. Okay, cool. So you also told me that you are passionate about creating communities, right? So why do you think creating communities is important?
First, you have to have a goal and knowing why you want to create a community. For example, in my cases, because I like spreading the things that I know, which is usually things around UX or front-end development, or I really like CSS and creating cute little stuff with CSS and like CSS art. So for me, I try to create communities based on this stuff. And I started creating my own community. For example, in Twitter, I tweet about those stuff. I try to find people that are in these areas, and we can talk with each other. We can exchange knowledge, so stuff like that. But creating communities is also important for companies. For example, maybe they have a product, maybe they want to show that product, maybe it's a nice way to interact with people. They can have support through the community, they can get features like they know what people want. So I think that's why it's quite important to create a community and then also build a community. But also something else that is that you can go in a community that already exists. For example, there are many communities about front-end development. You don't have to start your own community. You can just find the community and contribute.
Yeah, be part of it, right? Be actively part of it. So what's the thing that you like most about creating communities, interacting with communities?
Is that you can exchange knowledge. People are usually friendly. You can also learn faster. It's like a small virtual place to learn and do stuff, and you also get a lot of ideas. Most of my ideas about creating content, about writing blog posts, about creating YouTube videos, I find them through the community, because I get to see what they want and then I can create that. And if I don't know something, which usually is the case, I don't know stuff, but maybe I can speak with other people from their communities, I can dig a bit and then create something.
Okay, amazing. So you're also quite active on social media. What's your most active platform?
It's Twitter.
Twitter, yeah.
Yeah, it used to be Instagram as well. I'm not sure if you know that, but I had about 12,000 people there.
Wow.
Yeah, but I deleted Instagram. I couldn't handle it anymore. So yeah, right now I'm focusing on Twitter, which I think is a better place. Of course, like stuff are happening there as well. But Twitter is my favorite one. I tweet almost every day. I try to interact with people there as much as possible. And for example, I like to ask questions and get people's opinions. I also see what other people tweet, and this gives me motivation to continue, and also a lot of ideas to create content.
Yeah, I also like the Twitter most. I'm also there most active. I like the format, so you can be as short as you want.
Yeah.
If you do a video, you already have to, if it's even like just a short one, you have to take the time to take a take, maybe a third take.
Yeah.
And then it already takes up maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes. In a tweet, you're like...
You just write something.
Or you write something. Yeah.
Videos are very time consuming because you have to think what you're going to say, then you have to have a nice background, maybe you have to edit that video. Yeah, it takes a lot of time.
Maybe you script it before, so you have to think about what, and then you have to see how it works. Okay. And what would your advice be for for a developer that wants to become more active on social media? What's something that they should do or can do to gain some a better experience there, and some things that they should not do?
Okay, I have some strong opinions about that. So some tips about the people who wants to start doing that thing right now as developers is, I would suggest them to be very consistent with what they are doing. For example, spend 30 minutes every day just to see what other people are doing, try to comment and maybe ask questions, or if you're doing something interesting, don't afraid to show that publicly. Of course, if you're working in a company and you can't share exactly, but maybe you can do something similar, and it's also better for yourself, because when you write something again, you learn it better. You learn it yourself, So I think that as developers, we always have something to share, even if it's something small, even if you think that other people already know that stuff. For me, go ahead and share it again, because the way you are expressing something will be different than someone else. Yeah,
exactly. I see that a lot, that people are hesitant because, I already saw a video about that, so it's there. But always the the unique point of view. So maybe you explain it from a different angle,
Exactly.
and then one person is like, oh wow, now it makes sense to me because the way
It's
they
a
thought
little bit,
about
yeah.
it. Yes.
I remember, for example, I don't know a lot of things about APIs, but I remember a few weeks ago I wrote a thread about APIs, which is, I would say, something really basic, but it's not my field, so I didn't know a lot of things about that. I was a bit hesitant because everyone knows about those things.
Yeah.
But in the end, I saw that it had a lot of retweets, a lot of likes, and a lot of stuff like that, and I didn't believe it because for me it was something really simple, and I was very hesitant about that. But in the end, people really liked it, so really go ahead and post those things.
Yeah, that's great, and great advice to just go and like post it, and if people don't like it, they don't like it.
Yeah, it's
There's
okay.
always someone that doesn't like it, so
yeah, and especially on Twitter and on social media, they are very fast. If you do something today, maybe the next day people won't remember it because there are already
it's
a
very
lot of
volatile,
it's very fast.
very fast. Yeah. So one last topic I want to talk to you about. So you transitioned from developer to developer relations.
Yeah.
First, why and what was it like?
Okay. I used to work, as I said, as a front-end developer, and I really like that. But at the same time, I was doing my master's, and I didn't have a lot of time to work my full-time job and do my part-time master's. It was kind of too much. And I said, okay, maybe I will take a couple of months without working, and I will only focus on my master's. And I did that. But when I did that, at the same time, I started being even more social on social media. Yeah, so I was on Twitter all the time, I was on YouTube, I was creating a lot of videos, I was creating a lot of blog posts, because at that time I was also learning so many things from my masters, and I wanted to talk about the stuff. So I transitioned to the developer advocacy positions when I started being more open and more public about the things that I was learning. So a company approached me and they said, okay, so you're doing all this stuff, would you like to join us? And at that time I didn't even apply to that company. I only wanted to do my master's and not work. But since they approached me, I said, yeah, that's really cool and I want to join. So that's how I started.
Yeah, that's a story that I hear from almost all DevRels. Nobody looked for it, but they sort of got into it because they were like, hey, do you want to work with us? And you're like, oh, this is an interesting company. And
and I think it's because pretty much we already do the stuff. Like we are creating blog posts, we are creating articles, we are creating videos, we are on social media, and I think that usually that's what the company is looking for.
All right, and last question, is there something that you don't like about being DevRel?
No, not really. It can be a little bit tiring sometimes that you have to create so many things, you have to keep up with trends, and you have to know a lot of things. So
you have to stay updated, right?
Yeah, so that can be quite tricky. But for example, right now I'm in a really nice company, Crab Nebula, and I have a really nice team and they help me on those things. So
amazing.
Yeah, that's going on.
Okay, cool. So thanks, Eleftheria, for all your insights and for taking the time to come here talk with me instead of going to watch you talk. No. And everyone that watched or listened to this, thank you for tuning in. See you in the next video. Bye bye.